Hey guys, today we're going to be restringing a nylon string classical guitar, and I'm going to show you all the techniques that go into that. Let's check it out. So in order to restring this guitar, we're only going to need a string winder, a pair of wire cutters, and obviously a set of nylon classical guitar strings. So we're going to begin by unwinding the strings. Next, we're going to remove the strings from each tuning post. And sometimes I'll use a little pair of pliers to help get the strings out of each tuning post. Next, we're going to unwrap the strings from the bridge. You'll notice that each string has a little knot. Just pull the string through the loop in each knot, and they'll slide right out the back of the bridge. Hey, now would be a great time to go ahead and smash that like button for me. Okay, so I'd like to start with the first string, and I'm going to feed it through the front hole going towards the back. And I'm going to leave about 2.5 inches coming out of the back of the bridge. And what you're going to do is you're going to tie just a basic square knot. And then you'll have about 2 inches of string left over. And as we add each new string, we're going to tie these ends into each new string, and that will help keep all of the strings nice and tight at the bridge so they don't slip loose. While keeping tension on the string so that our knot doesn't come loose at the bridge, we'll feed the string through the tuning post. Then we're going to run it back up and around. We're going to run it through the tuning post hole one more time. And then pull that through. Now I like to leave enough slack, maybe about, if you're lifting up on the string, maybe 3-4 inches worth of slack on the string above the fingerboard. About like that. Then we're going to start winding our string up. And as we're winding, I like to spiral it outward so that it lines up with the nut slot. Now we don't want to over tighten this string yet, because if we do, it's going to loosen our knot up at the bridge end. All right, for the second string, we're going to do the same thing. Feed it through the front hole of the bridge, leaving a few inches so we could tie our knot. But before we tighten this knot down, we want to feed the lead from the first string through this knot hole. Pull it through, and then we'll tighten that little knot up. And eventually, all of these ends, these little leads that we're going to have coming out of the bridge, are going to feed through each successive string that we add. That helps maintain tension on all of them. And we're going to feed it through the tuning post twice. Leaving just a few inches of slack for us to tighten up. Next, feed the third string through in the front. Leave a few inches to tie the knot. Before you cinch the knot down, feed the previous two strings through. I already had one of them in there. So you'll have something that looks like this. Then at the headstock, feed it through the tuning post, pushing it all the way through, bring it back up and around. Run it through the hole one more time. Remember not to over tighten the string. We're not trying to tune it up yet. We got to make sure all of our strings are on before we can start tuning up. Now another thing that I'll do right now, because you see that all these string ends at the peg head are starting to kind of get in my way. So I'll go ahead and take my wire cutters and I will trim those pieces off. So they're not in the way. Next, we feed our fourth string through. And as I'm feeding this one through, I've got these three previous ends right here from the first, second, third strings. I make sure my fourth string goes underneath that so that all I have to do is tie my square knot, hold it down, and look at that. All my string ends are already locked into place. Come up here to the tuning post, feed it through again. All right, feeding our fifth string through, front hole on the bridge. Also, make sure your bridge saddle stays in the bridge slot there squarely. Sometimes it wants to kind of slide around. So as I feed the fifth string through, I'm feeding it underneath my previous ends. I'm going to tie my square knot. Making sure all my previous string ends are behind the bridge, not sitting up on top of it. Just like that. The fifth string will go through the hole twice, but on some guitars the sixth string will not, so we have to do a special little trick when we get to the sixth string. Remember, don't over tighten so we don't loosen up the knots at the bridge. You can trim your excess off. And we move to the sixth string. Now you'll notice on the sixth string at one end it almost looks like it's a little unraveled. That is the end you want to go through the tuning head, the tuning peg, and not the bridge. So the end that is really nice and clean, that's going to be the end that's going to go through the bridge. Through the front hole, underneath the previous strings. Now on this one, because the string end will not have anything to hold on to from another string, I will do 2 square knots on this string, just as an added level of security right there. Coming down to the tuning peg, we'll feed it through. And like I said, this one will not go through that hole twice. So as I start tuning, and on the 6th and 1st string, I like the spiral to go outward towards the tuning peg. As I'm turning this one, I want my excess string to kind of go underneath my wrap to help hold it in place. So I'll pull this end up so that my windings wrap across the top of it. Get a different angle here. That just helps hold that string in place around the tuning post. Now on our 6th string end that we had protruding out. I will feed it back through one of the other loops at the end of the bridge so it's out of the way. And we've got a little bit of excess string here, so what I'll do is I'll take the wire cutters and kind of trim them off flush with the edge of the bridge so they don't poke your hand as you're playing the guitar. Okay, now for the fun part with a classical guitar is stretching the strings and then tightening them up. Nylon string guitars tend to take a while to get the string stabilized before it will stay in tune. So you're going to play this little game of stretching, tuning for a little while. And it can take a few days before the guitar starts to stabilize and stays in tune a little bit better. Just know that that is to be expected and is quite normal. So we'll stretch and then we tighten. We stretch and then we tighten. We do that a few times and then we can start seeing if the guitar will start to hold tune. Also periodically check to make sure that your knots at the end all look like they're maintaining tension and nothing is coming loose. We did a pretty good job back here, so I don't think we'll have any issues with that. So as you can see, restringing a classical guitar or a nylon string guitar can take a little bit of effort, but in time, with practice and patience, you will get better and faster at it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below. Don't forget to subscribe to Joseph Hansen Guitar Studio, turn on those bell notifications so you see when I upload a new video, and check out some other videos from the playlist over here. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Keep rocking on.